So I'm going to open with a question. So what if music, all of it, disappeared? It didn't exist. Think about it. Okay, I know that we'll always be creating music, but what about the systems that transport music? The speakers, the wires, the stages. What if they didn't exist? The pathways to music. Well, I ask you because I'm part of that pathway. I work in music, and it got me thinking. For things to work, we develop strategies, and through those strategies, we build systems, and then we test those systems. I flew here from London, where I live, on a plane. I have no idea how a plane works. Yet, I hope that it does every time I get on it. Because a plane is a number of things that are built in to lead to a system. And what about the city that I left, London, or the city that I'm in now, Valencia? What a city is to me is it's a web of systems. It's a number of different things. It's our rubbish removal system, our healthcare system, our transport system. Sometimes we don't see them working because they're working. And when cities work, systems work. But what about music? My business. What about the music industry? Should there be a music strategy for cities? To me, the answer is an unresounding yes. And the reason is because music impacts everything we do, who we are, and everything about a city. Music, to me, impacts housing. Music impacts education, as I'm sure we've already seen today. Music also impacts employment, tourism, city branding, why we live where we live, why we go where we go, and how we spend our time. But there is no music strategy for cities. So I believe that this needs to be created. And let me give you an example. I'm going to talk about my venue in London, or the venue that I go to. I don't own this venue. It's just the amount of time I spend there, though. Sometimes they think that. So define music venue. I'm sure most people would say a music venue is a place where bands play. I think it's much, much more than that. A music venue is an incubator. A music venue is a creative cluster development tool. A music venue is a place where 20 to 25 small businesses a week get to showcase their products. And by small businesses, I mean bands. And by products, I mean songs, because they are small businesses. And they are products. Not to mention, a venue is a place to showcase new technology, from renewable energy to intellectual property, to new technology like lighting, sound, new product development, and so on and so forth. And if you have a successful venue, like my local venue in London, you develop an ecosystem around supporting that venue. More recording studios, more rehearsal spaces, more equipment hire, more transport, more deliveries, and so on and so forth. But my venue is not just a venue. It's a yoga studio in the morning. Sometimes it's a daycare center. There's been supper clubs hosted there. Occasionally it's a cinema. There was even a wedding there a little while ago. A venue builds neighborhoods as much as schools, as we've heard. Yet, when we talk about city strategy, and how to understand and build successful venues, what we're doing is talking about it through other strategies: noise, licensing, health and safety, transport. To me, that's only one side of the story. The other side is a music strategy. I feel like we're walking down a forked path, and we always turn left, or I guess right to you because I'm on stage. But we always turn left because there's no map to go right. But they're equally important. We're missing something. So there are some cities out there that are, as I call them, cartographers. They are designing this map through testing. One of them is Adelaide in South Australia. I'm not sure if anyone has been there. I haven't, actually. I hope to go. But Adelaide is 10 hours from any other major Australian city. And what happened is the university there, people left after they graduated. The city center was quiet after 5 p.m. People went home. So They did a live music strategy, and a number of different things happened. First off, the city bought a disused church in the center, renovated it, and opened it up for cheap office space for creatives. People stayed. They loosened some licensing laws in the city center. New bars opened in the city center. Again, people stayed. Or what about Denver in Colorado? There's a program there called Youth on Record. And what it does is it pays professional musicians to be teachers to at-risk youth in schools. So what they do is not only are they paying professional musicians, but also you're teaching life skills, you're teaching music education and music production, and they're working with the Housing Development Authority to build a new place in a new development that is rebuilding Denver, a part that is being rebuilt. That place will be a community development hub, a studio, and a classroom. Or London, where I live. Anyone familiar with London has known that a number of venues have closed in the last 6 months. So the mayor of London has instituted a live music task force. That live music task force is made up of musicians, music business people, but most importantly, not music business people as well, to try to understand what's happening and to try to understand how we can make things better. Because our cities need music strategies, but very, very few of them do. And they must be standalone. They must be economic and cultural. They must understand that we're not just talking about how to build more venues, how to sustain better and more suitable artists, how to build more festivals, how to create more festivals. We're not just talking about that. We're talking about how to improve our quality of life, how to improve our transport system, how to improve our education system, using music as a web, as part of the web that I speak of. It's a system within other systems. But right now, when you read city plans, I don't know how many of you actually read city plans. I'm a nerd, so I do. So most of them, if they even mention music at all, it's part of a paragraph on a page, usually 40, 50 pages down, under the term cultural policy or cultural strategy. This is not good enough. We are completely missing the point because music, to me, generates new revenue without increasing taxes. It creates new wealth without depreciating wealth. Yet we need a strategy around that. So I have a goal, and I hope that you guys will all join me in this. My goal is that by the end of my lifetime, every major city in the world will have a music strategy. And that music strategy will be based not just on music, but also on innovation, on housing, on tourism, on city branding, on making cities more international, on how we live, why we live where we live, and about our quality of life as a whole. Because I bring it back as I'm standing on a stage at an amazing venue in front of an aquarium. It's fantastic. Well, I think we take all this for granted sometimes. What if none of this actually existed? What if music didn't exist? And think about that question, because we can ensure that that question will never have to be asked as long as we build the strategies which lead to the systems within our cities. Thank you very much.